And welcome to my kitchen. My name is Patty Mason and I'm with My Simply Healthier. And today what I'm going to do is a couple of freezer to crock pot meals. These are some really good recipes that are healthy, tasty, and very easy to make, which is everything that I try to cook in my kitchen because I don't want to spend a lot of time in the kitchen. Today we're going to make, first we're going to make Mongolian beef. And so the first thing we'll do is take a freezer bag, and I wrote on it the date, and Mongolian beef, and then I wrote some instructions. This one only has the instructions to cook on low 6 to 8 hours, and then I wrote underneath that to serve with steamed broccoli. So what we're going to do for these is we're going to take all the ingredients that we need for the meal. We're going to put it all in the freezer bag, and then we're going to seal it up, zip it, put it in the freezer. And then the day that you're going to cook it, you're going to take it out of the freezer, open up the bag. It'll be frozen, so pop it out. Sometimes it might stick to the bag. Go ahead and just cut the freezer bag, but put it into the crock pot, and then turn it on according to the directions on the bag. One of the tips that I will give you now is take a look at what size crock pot you have. For example, I have 2 crock pots, so one of them is oval shaped. So when I put everything in the bag, I kind of seal it up and zip it like this, because even if I have to cut the bag, this shape, this size will fit in my crock pot. If you have a round crock pot, and I'll show you, this is, a round one like this, the bag won't, the food frozen won't always fit. You can't get the lid on. And if you're going to be leaving for work right after turning this on, it is going to be important that you can put the lid on. So when you seal the bag, make sure that you fold the bag up on the corners, so that when you take the frozen chunk out of the bag and put it into the crock pot, that it will fit and you can put the lid on. So that's my first little tip for you for making the freezer bags. So the first thing we're going to need for Mongolian beef is a pound of stew meat. Now when I do my meal plans, I don't include a lot of red meat, and the reason for that is because red meat is harder for our digestive system to digest, to break down and digest. It actually doesn't fully break down red meat, so we want to eat red meat the least amount out of all the proteins. The next thing we're going to do is just 2 teaspoons of olive oil. And I do have these recipes, so you are welcome to send me an email at mysimplyhealthier@gmail.com and be able to get all of these recipes. So I put the 2 teaspoons of olive oil in. Then I already did all my chopping. So I took an onion and I just cut it up into big slices. You want nice thick slices, because what it's going to do is it's going to break down and you're going to get those nice big chunks and strips of onion in your dish. So we'll go ahead and just dump those into the bag. Then we need a tablespoon of minced garlic. I love buying these jars of the pre-minced garlic. There's nothing else added to the jars, so they're perfectly fine to use. They last a little bit longer than having fresh garlic around, so that's kind of why I just buy the jars of the minced garlic. Then we need a ½ cup of soy sauce. I recommend getting low or reduced sodium soy sauce. and it is half a cup. If you have a gluten sensitivity or gluten intolerance, this will be one of the big ones that you'll want to be cautious of when shopping for soy sauce. You're going to want to look at the ingredients, and you're going to also maybe look for a gluten-free soy sauce. Soy sauce is one of those condiments that we don't realize that we have to watch out for the gluten in it. Then we need a half a cup of water. And we're just going to pour that into our bag. So this is how our bag is looking now. And remember, when we go to freeze this, I'm going to fold it up a little, so that it fits into my crock pot. Okay. So the next thing we need is brown sugar. And this recipe actually calls for a half a cup of brown sugar. All right. And then we're going to do ground ginger. And this is a 1/4 teaspoon. I like to take a little shaker top off and put in a 1/4 teaspoon of the ground ginger. And that's everything, and that's kind of how your bag will be. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get all the air out and seal it up. So now it's all sealed. But remember, I want it to fit into my round crock pot. So what I do is I kind of pinch the one side and I put it like this in my freezer, so that's how it freezes. So I have just this part here. One of the things you can do is, if you're worried about it unfolding before it freezes, is you can take a rubber band and there you go. Be careful if you're going to make a lot of the freezer meals. You want to make sure, if you're going to do it like this so that it fits into the smaller round crock pot, that you can still see the label and what's on there. You might want to write maybe at the top. So that's our first meal. That's all it takes, is a few minutes. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to move some things around a little bit here real quick, and I'm going to get us ready for our second recipe, which is the pasta fagioli. And what's cool about this recipe is it makes 2 bags. So we're going to do a lot of the same stuff that we just did with a different recipe, and it's going to take just that couple minutes. Now this one, the only thing that I had to cut up was the onion, and all I had to do was slice it. So even if you're adding in the prep time that I did before this, it's still only going to take a few minutes each recipe. Let me throw this in the freezer. And I'm going to bring over all of the items for the next recipe. You can also find my Simply Healthier on Facebook, and I love to share my recipes on Facebook. Now this is more of a soup. Kind of like the one that you can get at Olive Garden. So this has 2 bags. So we're going to take 2 freezer bags. Write the date. Pasta fajoule. And on here, the instructions are going to be, you can cook this either on low, 6 to 8 hours, or high, 3 to 4 hours. And remember that these, like the low, the 6 to 8, that includes the fact that you're cooking it frozen. And the reason that I do the cooking frozen on low is because most people are working 8 to 9 hours, are gone 8 to 9 hours. Some people are gone 8 to 10 hours because of work. So in that case, that's why you put it on. If you are not necessarily working that long, if it's not going to be in the crock pot that long, you can do it on the high, or you can thaw it out the night before, and then when you put it in the crock pot the next day, it's already thawed and it will take less time. Then you're looking at more like 5 or 6 hours on low, and then that's when you can do like this one on high for 3 to 4 hours. Also, we're going to serve this with egg noodles. I'm going to write that on the bag too. Okay. And a great addition, I'm going to also add this onto the bag. Certain people in my household like it a little spicy, so they can add Tabasco or the sriracha sauce. And I like to write that on the bag just as a reminder. Okay, so what we're going to do is, for this recipe, I'm using lean ground turkey. So I already took the package of ground turkey and cut it in half. So buy a 1 pound package. And put 1/2 pound in each bag. Now, wash my hands real quick. Okay. The next one I'm going to do is I took a 1/2 of a large red onion and I chopped it up. So I'm going to take 1/2 of this and put it in each bag. So there's our bags so far. The next thing we do is canned diced tomatoes, and it calls for 2 cans, so that's 1 can in each bag. So now each bag is going to get 1 celery stalk sliced, but I didn't prep this because I wanted to give you a little tip on celery. One of the things that we do is I like to purchase organic celery, especially when I can get it on sale. Celery is one of those items that you want to look for organic. It is on the Dirty Dozen list. So, so I'm buying a couple bundles of celery at a time. So the problem is, though, that they tend to get soft. So one of the tips that I have discovered is to wrap your celery in aluminum foil and store it in the refrigerator that way, and it will keep it crisp longer. It is still fresh produce, so it does have a shelf life, and it's not going to last forever in the refrigerator. So sorry about the noise. So I'm going to seal up the celery. And then I have my 2 stalks here. And I am going to chop. I'm just going to slice this up. So you can see here the size of my celery and the size of the slices that I cut up to put into the soup. So I have some nice little chunks of celery in there. It's amazing how loud certain noises become when you're trying to pay attention to noise. So that's one celery stalk. This was a pretty big bunch of celery, as you saw. So the stalks are pretty big, and I'm very pleased because I'm getting some good chunks of celery. Lots of celery in the soup. You can use egg noodles or elbow macaroni if you want. If you don't like pasta, you do not have to add pasta to it. Also, you can look for alternatives if you have gluten sensitivities or an intolerance. There are gluten-free pastas that are out there. There's also brown rice pastas made with corn. There's a lot of different options out there now. I'm seeing more and more grocery stores. Even Aldi now has a lot of gluten-free options. What I want to say, though, is to please still read the labels and the ingredients and see what's in there, because you still want to be conscious of what other ingredients are in there, not just what's not in there. So the next thing that we're going to do is light red kidney beans. And it's 1 can split in between the 2 bags. And I've already opened up the can and drained and rinsed the beans. Now it's very important to drain and rinse your beans. That's how you eliminate a lot of the sodium that's in beans in the cans. And then we're going to take 1 can of the white kidney beans and add half to each bag. And again, I had already drained and rinsed those. So here's our bags so far for a pasta fagioli. The next thing we're going to do is a jar of pasta sauce, and 1 jar split between the 2. So I'm kind of putting my fingers. There is absolutely nothing wrong with jarred pasta, except I would be cautious of the amount of sugar and what kind of sugar is added to your pasta sauce. You want to look for some of the more natural pastas. pasta sauce. There are some good brands out there that use little to no sugar. Seeing sugar on the label is always better than high fructose corn syrup. And then we're going to do 1 teaspoon of oregano to each bag, and salt and pepper to taste. Okay. And then each bag is going to get 2 cups of beef broth. If you are not a meat eater, vegetarian, vegan, or just like myself, occasionally just not a meat eater, one of the things that you can do is substitute black beans for the ground beef. So eliminate the ground beef, put a half a can of rinsed and drained black beans into each bag, and then you can choose to use a vegetable broth instead. I don't know if it's still called pasta fagioli, but I would still call it pasta fagioli. Be careful at this point with your bags so they don't lean over, because there's a lot of liquid in there now. This is going to be another one of those bags that's will probably need to rubber band so that it will fit. Again, or you can just thaw it the night before. There we go. Now we needed 4 cups of beef broth. Basically, I used up a 32-ounce container of the broth. Okay, we got our seasonings in. This one had a little bit of more prep work, had a few more ingredients. You can also add carrots to this. You can add about 1 cup of chopped carrots if you like. You can also, one of the things that I do is you can also add some kale or spinach right at the end of cooking. And I'm just kind of getting the air out of the bags so that I can take these then and put them in the freezer. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, so those are our 2 freezer to crock pot meals, and all we will do then, again, when we want to cook them, is either thaw them the night before or just pull them out in the morning, throw them in the crock pot, and you're ready to go. One of the things that I wanted to end today with is just a quick little tidbit about coconut oil. It's one of the big things that's in the news today. Every time I turn around, and you're seeing it more and more all over the stores, is coconut oil. So I just wanted to go over a couple quick little things so that you have some ideas on what you're supposed to purchase. And the first thing is, I always recommend an organic coconut oil. I have two different jars here. This one was bought at Sam's Club. This is a 56 ounce. I think we paid like $10, $11 for it. It's organic, refined coconut oil. This one here is one that was bought at Walmart. I think maybe $8. This is your expeller pressed organic coconut oil, again refined. So what I want to do is talk about real quick is what those words that I just said mean. Organic, we know what organic means, and organic is the best that you want to use for your coconut oil. The next thing is refined. What does refined mean? Refined has to do with the process of the coconut oil. So you want to look for refined coconut oil when you're cooking. Don't use unrefined coconut oil to cook with. And the reason is because the refined coconut oil holds together better under heat. So all of your nutritional benefits that coconut oil has, all of the properties of coconut oil, anti-fungal, antibacterial, antimicrobial, all the probiotics, all of those health benefits, the reasons that you want to use coconut oil instead of your other oils to cook with, all last and hold in higher heat when you get the refined coconut oil. Unrefined coconut oil is what you would want to use for like if you're replacing your beauty care products, if you're going to be using it on your hair or on your face or on your skin, anything that has nothing to do with heat. That's what the unrefined coconut oil is for. Refined coconut oil, again, is for cooking, any kind of heat. The next thing that we talked about was expeller pressed. You want to get expeller pressed, again, that has to do with the processing of the coconut oil, and the reason we get the expeller pressed is because it again has to do with utilizing the benefits of cooking with coconut oil. So it doesn't matter what size you get or what brand, you want to look for organic, refined, and expeller pressed for your cooking. I'd like to thank you all for spending the afternoon in my kitchen with me today, and I look forward to seeing you guys next Monday at noon. Thank you.